Greetings everyone, it's Iain at RTO here. Hope you're all well. Welcome to Live Ranking Albums, the show that we dedicate to bands' live output. And today we are looking at American legends in heavy metal thrash, Metallica. Formed back in 1981 in Los Angeles by James Hetfield and drummer Lars Ulrich, and they've been based in San Francisco for most of their career. They have had various members in the band, of course. The original lineup with James and Lars was Kurt Hammett and Cliff Burton, but before that they had a bass player called Ron McGovney who didn't record anything. Cliff Burton, of course, sadly passed away in a tragic accident in 1986. Sadly, Jason Newsted came in then, and then when he left we have Robert Trujillo. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce his name, but he's a fine bass player. So we have 8 live albums from Metallica and an honourable mention. So we'll get cracking. So coming in at number 8 then, we have Live at Grimley's. Now this was recorded in 2008 in the basement of a venue beneath Grimley's New and Pre-Loved Music in Nashville. It's like a warm-up gig they did before the Bonnaroo Music Festival, released in 2010. And on here we have got James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Robert Trujillo, or Trujillo, not quite sure, so I apologise if I've got it wrong, and Lars Ulrich. It's a very short set on this album, one side, not many songs. What am I thinking? So we've got No Remorse, Fuel, Harvester of Sorrow, Welcome Home Sanitarium, For Whom the Bell Tolls, Master of Puppets, Sad But True, Motor Breath, and Seek and Destroy. It's you can feel it's in a very small venue because the production's not brilliant, but what makes this little album great is the pure atmosphere. Oh god, the lights, I can't see what I'm doing. Let's put some lights on. Sorry about that, folks. Let's see what we're doing now. Yeah, this is the atmosphere on this album is truly amazing. So I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 7, an album recorded in November 2018. Helping Hands Live and Acoustic at the Masonic. This was recorded at the Helping Hands benefit concert in 2018. It's got James, Kirk, Robert and Lars. Acoustic versions of some of them songs and some covers. The first one is Disposable Heroes. It sounds different being acoustic, but it's pretty good. Then we get a really good version of Deep Purple's When the Blind Man Cries. Absolutely lovely version. Then we get The Unforgiven. Again, sounds really well as a acoustic number. Then we get a few more covers, starting with a cover from Nazareth, Please Don't Judas Me. It's a great song and they do a very, very good version of this. Then we get Turn the Page, written by Bob Seger. Really good version, not bad at all. Then we get Bleeding Me. They all sound really different acoustic, but they sound very good. Then we get another cover. This time it's a Blue Oyster Cult song, Veterans of the Psychic Wars. Pretty cool song and a pretty good version. Nothing Else Matters sounds really good. All Within My Hands, it sounds different acoustically. sounds actually better than the studio version. Obviously this one come off St Anger. The production on that is pretty naff. But if you want to hear more about that and the studio albums, you'll have to ask me to do it. Then we get an interesting version of Enter the Sandman, totally different. Again, Four Horsemen, totally different acoustic. And we end up with Hardwire. I think it's a very good album, you know. They picked some really good tracks to acoustic. The cover versions that they've done are fantastic. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7.5. Okay, then coming in at number 6, we have it was a box set album called The Big Four that was recorded in Sofia, Bulgaria. It was a live video as well, and it's performances with Metallica, Slayer, Megadeth and Anthrax. I've only got 2 of the sets. I've got the Metallica and the Megadeth. Anthrax, they're okay, but I'm not my favourite, and I definitely don't like Slayer. There was just something about Slayer I didn't like. So this was recorded in 2010, and it was shown in over 450 theatres in the United States, over 300 theatres across Europe, Canada and Latin America. So we got James Hetfield, Kurt Hammett, Robert Trujillo, Lars Ulrich. Opens up with Creeping Death, absolutely belting version. For Whom the Bell Tolls, Fuel, Officer of Sorrow, Fade to Black, That Was Just Your Life, Cyanide, great version. Sad But True, Welcome Home, All Night Mare Long, great version of One, stonking version of Master of Puppets, Blackened, Nothing Else Matters, Enter the Sandman, and then we get Am I Evil, and this features members of Megadeth, Anthrax, Dave Lombardo. Fantastic, great version, everyone having a great time. Then we get Hit the Lights, great version, and a fantastic version of Seek and Destroy. Okay, it's a really good set. It's enjoyable. So is the Megadeth. They're both very, very good albums, good production. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. Now coming in at number 5 is an album that was only supposed to be released in Latin America, but somehow it is now available in Northern Europe. And the album's called, now the Portuguese album is called Orgullo, Pasión, Gloria, Tres Noches en La Ciudad, México. But if you want that in English, it actually means Pride, Passion and Glory, 3 nights in Mexico City. This was recorded during the World Magnetic Tour in 2009. So we've got James Hetfield, Lars, Kirk and Robert. Opens up with the little intro of Ecstasy of Gold and the spaghetti western themes, pretty cool. Drives straight into Creeping Death, For Whom the Bell Tolls, a great version of Ride the Lightning. Disposable Heroes, One, Broken, Beaten, Scarred, The Memory Remains, Sad But True, Unforgiven, all very stable songs from the camp. All Nightmare Long, The Day That Never Comes, Master of Puppets, great version of Fight Fire with Fire, Nothing Else Matters, Enter the Sandman, The Wait, Hit the Lights and Seek and Destroy. Great album. You get songs obviously off of Death Magnetic. One reason I brought it when I found it was available. Also, it's I don't know why they didn't release it all over, because it is a great live album. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8.5. Okay then, coming in at number 4, we have S&M 2, recorded with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, a follow-up to S&M. This one was performed in 2019. Features James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, Robert Trujillo, and the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Edwin Outwater. We got Ecstasy of Gold, of course. They go straight into the Call of the Cthulhu. Great version of that from Ride the Lightning. And then we go to the from For Whom the Bells Tolls. Great version. The Day That Never Comes. Pretty cool version from Death Magnetic. The Memory Remains. Confusion. One of the newer tracks. Sounds pretty good, like Moth into the Flame. Great version. The Outlaw Torn sounds good. No Leaf Clover, something they did on S&M. Halo to Fire, brilliant version. And then on the second CD, opens up with some stuff done by the orchestra on their own. We've got Intro to the Scythian Suite. Then we got the Scythian Suite itself, Opus 20. Then they do the Iron Foundry. And then we go back into some Metallica. We get the Unforgiven, and probably the best version of All Within My Hands from the St. Anger. Best version, definitive version. It's a shame that album needs sorting out, St. Anger, because the production on it is awful. 7, track 7, and Anesthesia, Pulling Teeth, an instrumental from Kill 'Em All, written by Mr. Burton. Wherever I May Roam, really good version. Stunning version of 1. Electric version of Master of Puppets. Nothing else matters. Enter the Sandman. Great album. Don't think it's as good as the first one, but it's still good. And I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9 out of 10. Okay then, coming in at number 3. It's an album called Live in Chile, 1993 to 2017. Released in 2020. James, Kirk, Robert and Lars. These are songs taken all recorded in Santiago between 93 and 17. So the first two are in 2017. That's Hardwired and Atlas Rise. Pretty cool version of that. Then we go to 2010 for the Four Horsemen. Pretty good. Back to 2017 with Fuel. And back to 2010 for Fade to Black. Then we get For Whom the Bell Tolls from 1999. King Nothing from 1999. And then a fantastic version, the only live version I've got of this, Orion, done in 2014. Brilliant version. Great tribute to Cliff, I think. That Was Your Life, that's 2010. End of the Lines 2010, Wherever I May Roam from 1999. Sad But True 1993. One was 2010. Master of Puppets 2010. Seek and Destroy, brilliant, 2017. Fight Fire with Fire was 2017. Nothing Else Matters 2014. Enter the Sandman 2014. Very good album, a very good selection of songs on here. It's worth buying just for Orion and King Nothing, to be quite honest, because there's no live versions of that. While we're on the subject of this album, there was an album released in Argentina. Same sort of cover but with a different flag. God knows why. I don't know if it's a political thing, but it's exactly the same as this, but they're all recorded in Buenos Aires instead of Santiago. It's a great album. Thoroughly enjoyed this one, so I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.3. Okay, then coming in at number 2, recorded in 1999 with the San Francisco Symphony Orchestra, conducted by Michael Kamen. Recorded in the Berkeley Community Theatre. This was the final album that Jason Newsted worked on with Metallica, and it's S&M. So we got James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Jason Newsted and Lars Ulrich. Opens up again with the Ecstasy of Gold, Call of the Cthulhu, a stunning version of Masters and Puppets. Oh, this kicks. Really, really good. Very good version of Wolf and Man. And then a track that they don't do much, and this is the only live version I've got of this, the thing that should be, not be, sorry, from Masters of Puppets. Great version as well. Fuel's on here. The Memory Remains, a little thing that written for this called No Leaf Clover. Then we get Hero of the Day, again another good version of it. Devil's Dance sounds great on here. Bleeding Me, pretty cool as well. Nothing Else Matters, very good version. Until It Sleeps, pretty cool. For Whom the Bell Tolls, another stunning version. Human, written especially for this. Wherever I May Roam, good version. The Outlaw Torn is really good on here. Sad But True, solid as ever. One, awesome version. Enter the Sandman, best version of in the orchestral form, pretty good. And a stonking version of Battery. How they kept up with them, I don't know, but they did a brilliant job. Fantastic album, play this one a lot, and I'll give this an RTO ranking of 9.4. Okay, coming in at number 1 then. This is the first official live album released by Metallica and was recorded at the Palacio Deportes, Mexico City between the 25th and 27th of February and the 1st and 2nd of March 1993. Live shit, Bingen Purge. This features James Hetfield, Kirk Hammett, Jason Newsted and Lars Ulrich. Opens up with Ecstasy of Gold and Enter the Sandman. Best version of Enter the Sandman. Absolutely brilliant. Creeping Death sounds brilliant on here. Harvester of Sorrow, again, solid track. Welcome Home, Sanitarium sounds brilliant. Sad But True, best version of that. Of Wolf and Man, best version of that. Unforgiven, awesome version. Then you get this Justice medley where you get Eye of the Beholder, The Frayed Ends of Sanity and Justice for All, Blackened. Great little medley, 4 great songs from the album. Then we get some solos and little bits. You get My Friend of Misery and Dazed and Confused. The bass from Newsted on that is superb. Great, it's quite long, but you get so involved in it. Then we go on to the second disc. We've got Through the Never, excellent version. Stonking version of For Whom the Bell Tolls, probably one of the best. Fade to Black, excellent version. Master of Puppets, the ultimate version of that song. Same as Seek and Destroy, Whiplash, great versions of these. Nothing Else Matters, Wherever I May Roam, great version of Am I Evil, probably the best version. Then we do a little ditty called Last Caress, originally performed by the Misfits. Pretty cool, goes straight into 1. the definitive version of one. Then we get a little intro bit from So What, obviously the Anti-Nowhere League, then a stonker battery, the Four Horsemen, great track, great version, Motor Breath, and the album ends up with a couple of covers. Stone Cold Crazy from Queen, performed this at the tribute concert, and they do a great version of that, and a great version of Whiskey in the Jar. I would say this is Metallica at their best, at their height of their supremacy of thrash world. They're still a great live album, don't get me wrong, but I think this album, you've got so many definitive versions of their songs on this, and for that reason I'm going to give it an RTO ranking of 9.5. Okay, if you would like me to do a Metallica studio album version, put it in the comments, because at this moment in stage that's all I'm going to do on Metallica, their live stuff, because they are a popular band. But I like to do the live albums because it does bring some of the popular bands in, because we can show a bit of love to their live stuff. Just one mention, of course, the quiz, 23rd of December. If you want to join in, you need an answer sheet. Get it from below, and I will send it on to you. We've got one more show for the week, and that's the new album review of Roger Taylor's Outsider. So I'll be back for that later. Hopefully the lighter will be improved. Can't believe it keeps going dark, but there you go. I will speak to you all later. Take care for now. Bye.